All right, let's jump right in. I've got a story for you today. It's all about dreams, about struggle, and about one single skill that can, truly change a life forever. No, really, just stop for a second and think about this. What if just one skill could completely change everything about your life? I'm talking about a skill that could take you from a tiny little town and put you on the global stage. A skill that opens doors you didn't even know were there. Sounds pretty incredible, right? Well, for literally billions of people around the world, that skill is English. And look, this isn't some made up fairy tale. The story we're about to get into is a true story. It's proof of what's possible. Okay, so let's meet our hero, Sophia. She's from a small town in Brazil, grew up in a pretty normal middle class family. Her dad drove a taxi, her mom was a teacher. They weren't rich, not by a long shot, but what they gave her was way more valuable than money. They gave her this deep, unshakable belief in education. And then, when she was just 10 years old, that belief suddenly got a laser focus. Her little brother got really, really sick, and at the hospital, she watched this doctor, so calm, so in control, just save him. He saved her brother's life. And right there, in that moment seeing that, she made a promise to herself. One day, she thought, I want to do that. She knew right then she had to become a doctor. So she has this massive dream, right? But as she gets older, she hits a wall, a huge, unexpected obstacle that she never saw coming. See, to be a doctor, you absolutely have to know English. It's not a suggestion, it's a requirement. All the big medical textbooks, the newest research papers, all the global knowledge, it's all in English. And Sophia's English? Well, let's just say it was bad. Like really, really bad. And she knew exactly how bad it was. There was this one day in class, the teacher just asked her to read one simple sentence out loud, and her mind just went completely blank. All she could stutter out was, I don't know. And the whole class just laughed. Can you imagine that feeling, that humiliation? It made her dream feel like it was a million miles away. So that night, she goes home, she's devastated, and she tells her dad everything. He just listened quietly. And then he said something that would change her life forever. He said, if English is the problem, then go solve it. Go somewhere where you have no choice but to speak it. And what her parents did next, it's just unbelievable. They made this huge, life-altering decision. They took basically all of their savings, everything they had worked for their entire lives, and used it to send her to Canada to learn English. Can you imagine the pressure? As she was about to leave, her mom grabbed her hand and just said, Sophia, this is everything. This is all we have. Just promise me you won't give up. So with that promise echoing in her ears, one single suitcase and this giant dream, she got on that plane. But the second she stepped off that plane in Toronto, bam, reality hit her like a ton of bricks. The cold was shocking, the food was strange, and the way people spoke English, it was so fast, so different from her books. It was completely overwhelming. Right there in the airport, someone asked her if she needed a taxi, and nothing. Her brain just short-circuited. She couldn't understand a single word. And that feeling came rushing back in her very first English class when she could barely even say her own name. But that night, something inside her just clicked. She remembered that promise to her mom, and she decided, no, I am not giving up. I'm going to figure this out. So she got smart. She came up with her own little learning system. First, she had what she called the headphone trick. She'd just walk around town talking to herself in English, describing everything she saw. People probably thought she was crazy, but it wasn't about being perfect. It was about forcing her brain to stop translating and start thinking in English. Second was her 3-word rule. Super simple. Learn 3 new words every single day, and then you have to use them in a real conversation. That's how she made them stick. And finally, this was a big one. She turned off the subtitles on movies. It was tough, but it was absolutely key to training her ears to catch the rhythm and speed of how people really talk. You know what her first real victory was? Just ordering a coffee. That's it. A simple, can I have a latte, please? But for her, it felt like she'd just won an Olympic gold medal. And that's when she had this huge realization. She understood that learning English wasn't about perfection. It was all about confidence. The confidence to just try. But oh my gosh, the struggle was real. She was working at a cafe just to pay her bills, which meant her days started at 6 a.m. and didn't end until late at night after hours of studying.
There were days, her absolute hardest days, where she literally had $5 left in her entire bank account. And then one day, after months and months of just grinding it out, it happened. The big breakthrough. She was at the grocery store, and the cashier just casually asked if she needed a bag. And without even thinking, she replied, "No thanks, I brought one." And then it hit her. She hadn't translated it. The words just came out. For the very first time, she was actually thinking in English.
That was it. That was the turning point. From that moment on, she was on fire. She started studying like crazy for the IELTS exam. That super difficult English test you need to get into university. The test was brutal, reading, writing, speaking, but she didn't miss a single day of studying. And when she got that email with her results, she opened it, and she had passed. She did it! After that, the doors just started flying open. She got into medical school, and after years more of incredibly hard work, she graduated. Think about this. The girl who once stood in a grocery line with just $5 in her pocket, she was now Dr. Sophia Williams, making $88,000 a year at a major hospital. And that brings us to maybe the most powerful moment of her whole story. She's at work in the hospital one day, and the scared little girl comes in with her mom. The girl is crying, and Sophia just kneels down, holds her hand, and calms her down. And the little girl's mother just looks at her and whispers, "Thank you, doctor." In that one moment, everything came full circle. That little girl in the hospital all those years ago, she had become her. She was finally living that dream.
So Sophia's story is amazing, right? But it's more than just a story. It's a roadmap. It's living proof that this kind of change is actually possible. And that, of course, brings us to you. Because here's the absolute truth. No one can do this for you. Not your teachers, not your family. Your future is 100% in your hands. So it's time to stop making excuses. Learning English isn't some impossible magic trick. It's a skill. And just like any other skill, it can be learned. If you really want a different future, you have to start today, right now. You can do what she did. Watch videos, yeah, but switch off the subtitles. Force your ears to do the work. Speak English every single day, even if you're just talking to yourself in the mirror. It works. And please, please don't be afraid to make mistakes. Remember what Sophia learned? Confidence beats perfection every single time. And hey, if you need a little help along the way, that's exactly why we're here. That's why you should subscribe to English Square. This whole channel is built for people like you, for people who have a dream and know that English is the key to unlocking it. Your journey doesn't start tomorrow, it starts right now. So go on, hit that subscribe button, and let's do this. Let's grow together.